for this. You know?
It's fine. All right.
Here, well, look.
All right. Oh, are we rolling? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just recording just
right.
just to make sure we got everything.
All right, sweet. Well, as I reflect back on my experience as a kid during the Cuban Missile Crisis, when I think about it now, it's just kind of interesting. It was an interesting time when you as an adult you think about it, but as a child it was terrifying. We had for weeks. Let me back up. I grew up at this time. I lived in Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix at that time was really all about the Air Force bases. There were many Air Force bases, 6 to be exact, around Phoenix. And there were missile silos. You would play outside as a kid and have fighter jets go over your house at supersonic speed. So there would be the sonic booms and dishes would rattle and glass would break. It was crazy. And then every so often, all of a sudden, literally, kind of out in the desert, not far from your house, a missile would just come out of the ground. It was the craziest thing they were doing tests. So it was pretty commonly known that Phoenix was a prime target for the Russians, for the Soviet Union. And so we, living out there, knew that if there was a nuclear war, we didn't stand much of a chance of survival. However, as a kid, it first was all over TV. Kennedy this was all over TV. It was like 24/7. And you can imagine how TV was back in 1963. You couldn't escape it. At night there was a curfew. I guess they were afraid bombers were going to come and bomb us. You had there was lights out at 8 o'clock at night, so everyone had to have lights out. So we'd do everything, homework and dinner and everything, by candlelight. Everyone stored cans of food and gallons of water and stuff. It was just really bizarre time to live. I'm sure it was like what it was like for kids growing up in Europe in World War II. Very scary. I think the thing that I remember most was having military officers come into our classrooms and talk to us about really weird stuff for somebody that's 6 and 7 years old. But I still remember to this day. I remember distinctly. Now young kids, they do fire drills. We did nuclear bomb drills, which is a little bizarre. You didn't go outside. It wasn't about going outside. It was about crawling under your desk and shielding your eyes from the flash. And that was our drills. And we went through that, I would think at least once a week. And at some point, I think it was actually pretty close to once a day. The thing I remember most, though, is these military officers coming in. And they said, if men in strange uniforms come to your house and take your parents away, don't worry. And never stop believing in America and the American flag. I think what they were prepping us for was an invasion, that our parents would be taken away, just probably like kids experienced in Europe again. Very, very terrifying time. And there was a lot of, these guys were talking down to us as kids about our country and our flag and being an American and all of the trying to prepare us for what could eventually happen. Obviously it didn't, but it became, it was very close. And experiencing all that was going on at that time from a child's perspective, it was terrifying. It was the only way to describe it. We were not allowed to go outside after school, during recess. No time could you go outside. And that went on for several weeks. And when I think about it to this day, I think about kids growing up in school now, the things that they have to contend with, shootings, and we're we're killing our own kids versus being invaded or nuclear bombed. So I'm sure it's a different kind of fear today, but it was a very weird time. And yeah, if I think back, did it affect me as an adult? Yeah, it had to. I mean, I don't know how it couldn't. I mean, there was a real a possibility that we were going to lose our lives, or at least our families and our homes, and nothing would ever be the same. And that was made pretty clear to us as kids. And that, growing up, that really changes. That changes you over time. So that's my experience. The Cuban Missile Crisis. Heck, it wasn't too long after that. I was walking into. We were actually at recess. And I was walking into class. Actually, recess had been called earlier. We were walking into the school, and there was all this talk about Kennedy had been shot. And I, of course, me being silly, I thought, well, yeah, I got a shot the other day. Thinking in my, never did I ever think that he was shot with a gun. Who shoots the president? And by the time we got into our classrooms, the teachers were crying. Schools let out early. Got home, moms crying. It was horrible, and just another one of those events growing up that you remember, and how devastating it was to the country and to our society when that happened. So, very strange time growing up as a kid. So that's all I've got.